this is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to put together a gorgeous pumpkin wreath for fall. So the pattern I'm using for the pumpkins is my rustic farmhouse pumpkin pattern, and I'll have a link for that. The only difference is instead of using bulky yarn, which I use in that video tutorial, I'm using a worsted weight yarn instead. So I'm using Wool of the Andes worsted weight, and I'm using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. So this will get us, our large pumpkin will make this size, and the mini size. So I picked 6 colors. I did 3 small pumpkins and I did 3 large pumpkins. So the colors that I used here is Amber Heather, I used Spruce, I used Pumpkin, I used Merlot Heather, I used White, and finally, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but I used Ford Heather. So these are really nice colors for fall, and they match my home decor, so I decided to go with these colors, but you can really pick any color that you want. If you go to the blog post, the link's in the description, I'll have all of this outlined with links where you can purchase. So now what you'll also need for your wreath, I bought a pre-made twine wreath from Michael's. So any of your craft stores, so that was around $15 I paid, and I believe I used a coupon to kind of keep it affordable. And then the greenery I just picked up at the dollar store. So they were $1.50 a piece, so super affordable and easy to make. So on my one piece, I have about 4 pieces coming out, and I used my wire cutters to cut off the tail so that they're easier to stick into the wreath. And I'll show you how to put all of these in and secure them. So you'll need your scissors and your wire cutters and some wire. This is just what I had on hand. You could pick something more neutral to blend in, but we won't really see it. You're gonna need some of your cinnamon sticks for your little pumpkins, your yarn needle, and a glue gun. I picked a pretty big wreath. So the wreath that I chose has a diameter to outside of about 26 inches. You don't have to choose one this large, but I wanted it nice and big for my front door. I have a new door on order. I may not be able to get my modeling done on that door yet, but I know it's going to look really nice on my brand new door. Okay, so once you have all of your pieces cut, what I like to do before I attach anything, I just like to kind of feel out where I want things positioned first. So first I kind of take a look at my wreath and see how I want it to hang to make sure that I'm happy with how it looks, because each wreath can sometimes be a little bit different. So what I did is I have my pieces cut so it doesn't have super long tails, and then I've just jammed them kind of through. So I have 3 going up this way, and then I have 2 going this way. And then I'll just put my pumpkins in. So now what I suggest doing, there's a couple ways that you can firmly secure these. This one's not wanting to squish back in. You could use your wire them on, or just use your glue gun to help secure. What you do want to do is make sure they're not just stuck in like this. I mean, they'll probably hold, but just to give it a little extra hold so that your wreath isn't coming apart. At the point that you're happy with your placement, I would just come in with the glue gun and just make sure that your pieces are glued in. You can pull them out and add some glue on there and just stick them back in. can even add some glue just to some different spots just to kind of help. I don't know. I think it's just going to give it a little bit more security that they're not going to pop out. Some of them are jammed in pretty good. Like I say, you could even go in with some and just tie them in place as well. I'm just going to add some glue here and attach all of these pieces in. So the next thing I want to do is add some wire to the bottom of the pumpkin. And this is an easy way. You can just stick your wire through the bottom of your pumpkin, and then we can stick this through the wreath and then just secure it. So then if for any reason you want to take the pumpkin off, it's not going to wreck. We're not gluing anything. It's not going to wreck the pumpkin. This can easily come straight through. And you can move your positions around as well. So you just want to take a long piece just so that you're sure you have lots. And then just take your wire cutters and just do that. Then you just want to pop that through. It's bending. Might take a little fiddling to get it through, but once you're through, it's good. You can always trim. If you have more than you need, you can always trim it, so don't worry about that. I think my little one, I was a little bit short, so it's better to go long and trim any extra. And I also just picked up the wire cutters from the dollar store, so it's really inexpensive. Like I say, it can take a little bit of fiddling. So you're just going to want to do this to all of your pumpkins. And you can even add more pumpkins on your wreath if you want to fill it out more. And so the wire that I'm using is a 20 gauge, just if you're trying to get a similar size to what I'm using. It's always good to get a nice overhead look of your wreath just to make sure it's all coming together well. And then what we want to do here is just place out our pumpkins. I like to take the bigger ones and add them to those spots. Those big kind of open spots here. Put this one over here. Want to keep them more heavier to the bottom of the wreath. So maybe a small one there. Small one in here. And you can just fiddle around with that to make sure that you're happy with the location of your pumpkins before you attach them in. Okay, so that's your next step, is to just fiddle around and look at, go above, even if you stand on a chair, whatever, just to make sure that you're happy with how the overall layout is. Once you're happy with the location, what you're going to do is take your wires and you want to push them down through the wreath. We need to get them jabbed all the way through and out to the other side. That can be sometimes a little tricky. It's going to be difficult for me to show you on camera because I need to poke and prod to get it down. Okay, so once, my other pumpkins will probably move as I do this, but I basically have my layout. So then what you're going to do is just twist your wire underneath here to secure them. See, I do have a lot of extra. You can trim that, or you can leave it and just kind of tuck it up so that you don't see it. So that's going to get our pumpkin in there so it's nice and secure, and that's what you're going to do for each of them. You're going to take your wire, holding up your wreath, and this is why it's nice to have the wire nice and long so that it's easy to kind of poke it. Poke it through. I see my other pumpkins are going to fall off, but you get the idea. So this is what we're doing. We're just making sure that we don't lose our pumpkins. So I'm going to finish attaching all of my pumpkins, and I'll meet you back up again when I'm finished. Okay, so you could have left your wreath as is, but I decided I was going to add a few pine cones in just to fill in the gaps. That's completely optional. You could squish your pumpkins closer together or just make more pumpkins, but I thought it looked kind of nice with some pine cones just stuck in different places. So what I'm going to do is use my glue gun and just glue those in place.